Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're having an amazing day. Let's get right into the stories. The first story is titled, Order Me to Clean Up Your Mess? I'll get your boss to see how badly you treat your staff. One day, I was working on the till, and doing just fine. It was a good day, as Snappy wasn't around, so I only had one asshat to deal with that shift. It was a slow day, and I had been using Snappy's till credentials to let her see the true reflection of a normal swipe rate. See previous revenge. And when I didn't have any customers waiting to be served, I made sure all the bits around the till were organized, clean, and looking good. The only big job around the till to keep clean and tidy was the medicine cabinet. It's a locked cabinet just below the till with medicines we advertised, but customers couldn't just pick up off the shelves as they were quite pricey, and we needed to advise them on the dosage, etc. But I took 30 minutes or so to clean the damn thing, making sure all the flea treatments were on one side, the calming remedies were on the other, and so on. There wasn't really enough space for everything, but I made it work so when anyone looked in the cabinet, they would be able to see every single label or front of a box to determine where anything is. I was a little proud of my work. Next thing I know, Messy came into the till area, on the phone with a customer I assumed, and went into the medicine cabinet. Now, Messy was not a lean guy. He was big, with huge arms, probably through lack of a proper diet and too many takeaways. And this cabinet was small, so I had a feeling I knew what he was going to do to find the product the customer was obviously asking for and got my pet pad out. Oh yeah, all of us worker bees had iPads called pet pads, which we would use for taking online orders, writing notes, checking off to-dos, etc. But there was also a camera function, which I decided to utilize that day. I got my pet pad out and set it to record video. Messy proceeded to put his left arm as far as he could on the inside of the cabinet and swipe to the right and then forwarded to bring out every damn product in there. He hadn't even tried looking first like a normal person would. He just went full 1-year-old on the beautifully organized cabinet I just finished cleaning. I'd got it all on camera, and when he got off the call, having told the customer we don't have whatever they wanted in stock at the moment, he got up and told me to clean up the cabinet. I left the pet pad on record, although I didn't point the camera at him, I just needed the audio for this part, and told him I had finished cleaning the cabinet not 5 minutes before he came and swept everything out before even attempting to search inside. He said he didn't care, and ordered me to clean it, even pointing at the mess all over the till floor area. I then stopped recording on the pet pad, smiled, and said thank you, and to hold the tills down for a sec as I walked off towards the back of the store. I went into the office where Doormat was sitting, doing something on the computer. I showed him the video and told him I wanted to make a formal complaint about Messy, and I wanted that video to be included. Doormat did let the other managers run amok and walk all over him, but that recording must have taken the cake for him. He wrote up the complaint, downloaded the video, even let me take a copy for myself because I didn't trust it wouldn't get deleted, and filed it to head office. I got the rest of the shift on the tills in peace, as Doormat hauled Messy's ass inside, and from what I'd heard from other worker bees, he took him down a couple pegs. After seeing my complaint at head office, the big bad boss man above the managers, mentioned in the previous revenge, for that store visited us in person and chewed out Messy in front of the entire staff for 20 minutes, lectured the managers on how we treated each other as a staff family, and how conduct like that, proceeds to show the whole staff of the video I recorded, will not be tolerated. I have never been so vindicated in my life. I got many pats on the back from the worker bees after that meeting, and let me tell you, Messy and Snappy always watched where my hands were going every time they pulled their daily BS around me to make sure I wasn't reaching for my pet pad. The next story is titled, Entitled Mom Tells Her Friends She Owns My House and Lets Random Kids Swim in the Pool. For a little backstory, I live in a nice house. It's right on the beach, and I take good care of it and my garden, so it's not strange to see people admiring my home. I'm also a teenager and basically live alone. My dad and mom both work in other states and travel a lot, and my sister lives with her fiance. I can drive, do laundry, and can go grocery shopping, so this isn't too weird. I don't like driving, so I usually bike everywhere, and I have a pool in the backyard. On to the story. EM, entitled Mother, EK, entitled Kinder Egg, CF1, CF2, EM, Confused Friends, CT, Confused Twins. Okay, so I just had a long day at work and had a few groceries with me on my bike. I just want to take a nice hot shower, and I look like death in my fast food uniform. As I pull onto my street, I see a line of people blocking my driveway. Like, full blocking. I pull onto the sidewalk and start walking my bike towards the group, and I overhear CF1 talking about how happy she is for EM and how beautiful her new home is. I'm like, what? No house nearby was sold or is even on the market. So I try to pass to get to my garage. Me. Hey, can I get past, please? EM. Just go around. Can't you see we're busy? Me. I just need to drop my bike in the garage and then I'll be out of your way. I'm glad you like the house, though. I try to take care of it. CF1. I think you might be confused. EM lives here. Me. No, this is my house. I live here. I don't know her. EM. You are obviously trying to break into my house. Get away before I call the police. Me. No, you need to leave. EM. I will not get off my property. At this point, I just push past and head towards the garage. That's when I hear the splashing. No one should be in the pool. I drop my bike and run to the backyard and see 3 kids swimming in my pool. Duck that. I raise my voice and tell them to get the F out. The CT both get out, but are obviously confused, but the EK stays in. EK. My mommy says I can swim. Go away, you idiot. Me. No, I am not responsible for you drowning. Get the hell out of my pool and off of my property. EM. Don't talk to my angel that way. It's his pool. CF1. EM, what's going on? Who is this girl? EM. She is trying to rob me. Get the F out, kid. Me. I'm panicking at this point. Well, prove it. Prove that you live here, huh? CF2. EM, why don't we go inside? The kids shouldn't be here for this argument. Me. Like hell you're going into my home. EM. Yes, we're going inside. Now go away, girl, before I call the police. Me. Fine. I dare you to get in. The group climbs the stairs. Obviously, EM didn't think this through. Only 2 keys to this house exist. My key and my sister's. I lock up my bike, grab my groceries, and push past EM. She is making excuses to her friends about why the key doesn't work. Me. Excuse me, if you don't mind, I'm going into my house. CF2. EM, what's going on? I close the door and lock it as EM is banging on my door, screaming about how she is going to call the cops. I called the cops, not her. She ran off as soon as she saw the cop cars, and the friends stayed behind very confused. They explained that EM had told them that this was her house and that they were just going to swim in the pool and then head to the beach so they would never go in the house. Later on, no charges are pressed on EM. I hope she learned her lesson. The next story is titled, "Wanna Throw Staff Under the Bus? Watch it fall back onto your family." I worked 5 years as a warehouse manager in a building that the head office was right above us. I worked with a CSR, let's call him J, and his father worked in the warehouse, let's call him L. We had a team of 30 people in the warehouse, and we had just had our online business active for about 1 year now. Before that, our main source of business was picking transfers for stores and just stocking the stores. We finally opened the online part of our business, this is back in 2015, so we would also sell similar products on the web. The problem is that if a store got all the product picked of one thing while a web order came in for the same, then we would be at a loss because we don't have enough for the customer. It would already be scanned by an employee and packed on a skid. Not worth digging an hour to find a $10 product. Anyhow, J and L were both infamous for throwing people under the bus for their own personal gain. It almost seemed that they would do it whether it was personal gain or not. They were just lowlives, the people I would consider losers. They both worked in the business for 10 plus years, and they were both entry-level positions since they were toxic and non-promotable. One time, I get into a meeting upstairs organized by my boss, CFO, the customer service manager, and the 3 CSRs. It turned out to be kind of an ambush because Jay walked in with a stack of paperwork. I was new at the time, about 4 months into the job. We talked about the online business and where we did well, but ultimately where we fell short. Jay then dropped the stack of paper pointed at me and said this is a stack of issues that your staff have done in the past year. Literally a list of things even from before I was employed. He basically said that the warehouse didn't know what they were doing, as the stack included mispicks, incorrect quantity shipped, and other issues. I had said this is the first time I've heard of any issues. Why would we not bring the issues up one by one so we can fix the concern or see where the issue lies and address it to correct future ones, rather than wait for them all to pile up and become more issues? I said this, and then said, so wait, You were intentionally holding off on information that could have helped this business so you can collect enough data to try to make someone lose their job instead? Jay said, someone should be fired for this. CFO quickly disagreed, but I said, you know what? I will have to look at these issues and address with staff. So I took the stack and went downstairs. I found something interesting. No issues were brought up about specific errors from the department L works at, his dad. So I went and asked the CFO if Jay could provide me details on each department, specifically Department 35 and 40, which were our laboratory and LTL shipment business. Both are L's position. Eventually, Jay took a week, so I had the CFO ask again. He gave me a few issues, but tried to sugarcoat it. The thing is, Jay had given me a few small issues with a customer we don't deal with anymore. Apparently, this customer dropped us as we had tons of logistical issues. So I called the customer and said I was a new manager trying to find ways to improve and wanted to know what happened. When the customer happily gave me a list of issues, I found it was all L that created the errors. In fact, we lost 3 high-valued customers due to it. So I went to the CFO and got approved to terminate with a bare minimum package. Jay and L lived together. L was the person paying for the mortgage. When Jay found out I was terminating his dad, he came to me and talked to me personally about it. He said, listen, my intent wasn't to get anyone terminated. It is simply to make sure we function well as a company. I said, Jay, I appreciate your concern. But you made it very clear in the meeting that someone needs to lose their position, and I found several issues where an employee had clearly made us lose 3 high-value customers, and he is still creating issues to this day. Jay said, okay, but termination is a stretch. I said, I don't know how you found out I was going to possibly terminate someone in the first place, but I do what I must to simply make sure we function well as a company. I played dumb that I didn't know they were related. To the point where, after I had terminated L and officially was told they were son and father, I had gone to Jay and said, I'm sorry, I didn't know you two were related. If I had known, then I would see why you were hiding information on the department intentionally. Over my time there, Jay had tried to do the same thing, and I eventually got him to a final written warning based on staff harassment. He still works there as a CSR. Will never move up in the company. Has his age capped. I don't enjoy terminating individuals, especially when it's a parent who needs to provide for their family. But this duo, duck them. The last story is titled, Coworker Tried to Steal, Almost Got Away with It Till She Pissed Me Off. I work at a veterinary clinic, and as you may assume, it gets very busy. I typically have the role as a veterinary nurse, but help my coworkers when I can. I was helping clients at our front desk because it was slammed and there was only one receptionist. A coworker stormed up front, got real rude with me, and said she needed help in the treatment area. Cool. I will absolutely help, but I wanted to finish my task, and I certainly don't appreciate the attitude about helping someone else, so I snapped back and we idioted at each other for a minute. Fast forward to the evening, this same coworker who had no right to be a dick earlier had also used flea medications for her cat that was in today. She didn't put it on her invoice and specifically said anything that costs money she didn't want to get today. So she planned on just not paying for it. I didn't honestly care too much because it's inexpensive and the cat needed the meds, so I ignored it. Well, because she decided to be an a-hole, I asked our receptionist if that medication got put on the invoice, knowing the answer was going to be no. Amazingly enough, it wasn't on there when they looked, so of course the doctor puts it on the invoice and they try to charge the card on file. It paid for a whole 4 cents. And we were all there watching her card decline on the computer screen. The receptionist calls coworker and she says she doesn't have the money to pay for it. If she doesn't pay it, it will now go into collections. If my office manager catches wind she had no intentions of paying for it, she very well could get written up or fired. My manager and I are having a meeting on Monday, and it just may come out that she had no intentions of paying for it. The same person stealing from the company is supposed to be a shift lead and then interim manager when my manager goes on maternity leave. This, friends, is why you don't treat your coworkers like crap. I am thrilled at the petty slip-up of her attempting to steal from the workplace. Thank you for watching. I would really appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We'll see you again tomorrow.